Part 8. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 71. He started practicing martial arts at the age of 8 and was a genius. Nalan Yi held his head high and said this with a serious face. When he saw everyone looking at him, he continued. Many years ago, a mysterious old man found me secretly and said that I was extremely talented and had amazing bones. I was a rare martial arts prodigy. He also said that he would accept me as his disciple. Nalan Yi started to pretend, and smiled softly. I refused at first, but he had to accept me as his disciple, and even said that if I didn't agree, he would not die in peace. I had no choice but to reluctantly agree, and then learn martial arts from him. Nalan Yi continued, then it's what young Master Su said. My master didn't want others to know that I learned martial arts from him. In order to avoid trouble, he told me not to expose my strength and teach it to others only as a last resort. A way to hide my martial arts. When he said this, the time had just arrived, the spiritual energy in Nalan Yi's body failed, and the huge power disappeared in an instant. What happened? Nalan Yi was just about to continue to show off, when he felt that his power disappeared and he became an ordinary person again, and he was suddenly shocked. At this time, Su Yang was afraid that he would reveal his secret if he acted too surprised, so he said, Nalan Yi, why do I feel that the pressure is gone? Are you hiding your strength again? Damn it! Su Yang. You are such a good person. Every time I am at a loss, you always help me. Ha ha ha, I even want to buy you a drink if I have the chance. Nalan Yi reacted instantly, then nodded seriously and said, yes, I just used the method my master taught me to hide my strength again. You are so amazing, so strong, and you know how to be patient. You are simply invincible. Su Yang did not hesitate in his words of praise. Ha ha, young Master Su deserves the prize. After hearing these words, Nalan Yi's eyes changed when he looked at Su Yang, and he felt that Su Yang was more pleasing to the eye. Grandson. At this time, Nalan Zu got excited and held Nalan Yi's hand excitedly. He even changed his name to him and said kindly, I have always thought that you are very ordinary these years, and I have always hit and scolded you. I made you suffer. Nalan Yi felt particularly proud, but on the surface he said, Grandpa, it's okay, I don't care about this. Well, my good grandson, Nalan Zu said excitedly, the Nalan family has such a proud son like you. This is the blessing that the Nalan family has cultivated for hundreds of years. Okay. Suddenly, Zhao, who had been silent for a long time, said, Nalan Zu, it turns out that your grandson Nalan Yi has hidden his strength. He was the one who took away the red lotus sword last night. He should be punished now. Miss Zhao. Nalan Zu heard this, but in order to protect Nalan Yi, he refused to give in at all. He gritted his teeth and said, what punishment? You can take away the red lotus sword, but don't even think about touching a hair of my grandson. What do you mean, Nalan Zu, you want to go against the national blade? Zhao said coldly. Seeing this, Nalan Zu was a little embarrassed, but now Nalan Yi is different from before. Now he already knows that his grandson Nalan Yi is a martial arts genius. He has reached the peak of energy in his early 20s. His future achievements are limitless. From now on, the Nalan family will all rely on Nalan Yi. Therefore, Nalan Zu would not hesitate to offend the country's sword, so he said in a deep voice, so what, I still have some connections in Kyoto. Do you really think the Nalan family is afraid of you? Snort. If you offend the country's sword, you will live or die. Zhao's eyes flashed, and then he stood on the spot, raised his hand and slapped Nalan Zu from the air. At the level of a martial arts master, true energy can be transformed into the attributes of the 5 elements, which is astonishingly powerful. I saw Zhao shooting out a Genkai water dragon and roaring towards Nalan Zu. Not to be outdone, Nalanzu also raised his hand and struck out with the palm. His true energy turned golden and exuded brilliant power. Boom! The next moment, the two sides collided, and then the Genkai water dragon and golden Genkai all dissipated. Afterwards, Zhao remained motionless, staring at Nalanzu with a pair of beautiful eyes. On the other hand, Nalanzu took half a step back, his withered old face showed a look of shock, and said, "I have long heard that instructor Zhao has practiced the long-lost true dragon Qi. I am lucky enough to see it today. It is indeed well deserved. I am not your opponent. It's good to know." Zhao said in a cold tone, "We are both Chinese, and I don't want to break up with you. My request is very simple. Return the red lotus sword and Nalanyi must also apologize." Zhao said with a gloomy face, "If your Nalan family can't even do these two things, I don't mind applying to the higher authorities to destroy the Nalan family." As soon as these words came out, Nalanzu fell silent and his eyes fell on Nalanyi. Nalanyi understood what he heard, thought about it in his mind, and then said proactively, "Grandpa, we don't want the red lotus sword. It's just an apology. I can accept it. Don't offend instructor Zhao because of me." "Good, good, good. You are worthy of being a descendant of my Nalan family, capable of bending and stretching." Nalanzi praised. "Grandpa, thank you." When Nalanyi heard his grandfather's praise, he felt extremely satisfied. Then he looked at Zhao and bowed to apologize. "I'm sorry, instructor Zhao. What happened last night is all my fault. I apologize to Guo Ren. Well, it would have been fine if it had been this way earlier. Why bother?" Zhao nodded and said, "You did make a mistake last night and you shouldn't have taken away the red lotus sword. However, you acted righteously and were loyal and patriotic. Your merits and demerits are balanced. After you apologize, let this matter be written off. Nalanzu, your grandson is not simple. Not only is he gifted, but he also has a mysterious master. Your Nalan family will definitely rise to a higher level in the future, and maybe even return to Kyoto." Zhao said calmly. Naturally, she did not doubt Nalanyi's previous explanation, and believed that Nalanyi did have a mysterious master, because with Nalanziu, he could not cultivate the peak of energy in his 20s. "Thank you, Miss Zhao. I was too impulsive and chose to fight you just now. I apologize to you for my recklessness." The conflict eased and Nalanzu began to say nice things. "Well, don't mention this again." Zhao had no expression on his face and said calmly, "Zhang Chenyang, pick up the red lotus sword and let's go." "Yes." Zhang Chenyang accepted the order and immediately took the red lotus sword in his hand. At this moment, Su Yang looked at Nalanyi and said with a flattering smile, "Nalanyi, I was arrogant to you just now. Don't blame me. We often play together and we are good brothers. You must protect me from now on." "Haha, definitely, definitely, young Master Su, don't worry, I will definitely take good care of you." Nalanyi was extremely proud. He didn't expect that young Master Su would want to please him because he was so awesome now. Before, he wanted to kill Su Yang in order to gain his grandfather's attention, but now he changed his mind and planned to accept young Master Su as his younger brother and take him out to show off in the future. It would be so embarrassing. But what Nalanyi didn't know was that all of this was Su Yang's fault, and he even accepted Su Yang as his younger brother. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 72. Next, Su Yang left the Nalan family's manor with Zhao and the National Blade members. Before leaving, Su Yang glanced at the floor, with an imperceptible smile on his lips. With his ability, he could naturally discover the underground meeting room of Nalan's house. Moreover, Su Yang also sensed a few familiar auras, which were the masters from Country D who were let go last night. These people seemed to be very angry. They should also be looking for trouble with Nalanyi. Moreover, they came earlier than Guo Ren. I guess Nalan Ziu asked them to hide when they heard that Guo Ren set foot in Nalan's house. Haha, just now Nalan Yi apologized in public, which is equivalent to admitting that he was the one who killed Ling Hu and took away the Red Lotus sword last night. I believe those experts from Country D will not let the Nalan family go easily. Among them, there is one person whose aura is not weaker than Nalan Ziu's, and he must be a martial arts master. Su Yang's analysis was very thorough. Su Yang thought he was no match for these two masters. But this move is so satisfying to drive away wolves and tigers, let them consume it internally. After Su Yang and others left, Nalan Ziu and Nalan Yi breathed a sigh of relief. Finally gone. Nalan Ziu was relieved, and turned to look at Nalan Yi with relief. He couldn't help but praise, "My grandson, I didn't expect you to be so strong. When Guo Ren came to the door at first, I didn't believe that it was you who happened last night." Maid. Snatching the Red Lotus sword from Guo Ren, "Haha, you have courage and courage, you are worthy of the blood of the Nalan family." Nalan Ziu patted Nalan Yi on the shoulder and promised, "From now on, you just have to grow up with peace of mind. Grandpa will protect you. I hope that in time, you can surpass Sukinkan and become the #1 master in Jiangbei. By then, you can return to Kyoto. Our Nalan family is different from the local families in Jiangbei. If we can get recognition from Kyoto, the Nalan family will soar into the sky. Let alone the little Su family, we don't even have to take the national sword seriously." Nalan Ziu spoke eloquently, and the more he spoke, the more excited he became. Nalan Yi originally wanted to confess to his grandfather that he had done nothing last night. But when he heard his grandfather praising him for his courage, he thought for a few seconds and then gave up the idea of explaining. "Okay Grandpa, I will definitely work hard to practice and strive to bring the Nalan family to a higher level," Nalan Yi said with a fist. "Okay, good grandson." Nalan Ziu was extremely pleased. The more he looked at Nalan Yi, the more he liked him. He couldn't help but gently stroke Nalan Yi's head. His eyes were full of kindness and doting. He. At this time, Lu Fankin came over with several masters from Country D and sneered with a gloomy face, "Nalan Ziu, you really have a good grandson. Brother Lu, why did you bring people out? Guo Ren's people haven't gone far yet. If they are discovered, they will be in trouble," Nalan Ziu said hurriedly when he saw Lu Fankin. He. Lu Fankin sneered and said, "What if we are found out? Your grandson Nalan Yi is an aspiring young man who serves the country with loyalty. Even if Guo Ren finds out that I am at Nalan's house, he will not suspect that we are colluding." Lu Fankin looked at Nalan Yi and said with a serious face, "After all, patriotism is the family tradition of your Nalan family. How can the Nalan family cooperate with our Country D? This." Nalan Ziu was suddenly embarrassed and explained, "Brother Lu, please calm down. The National Blade instructor was here just now. I can only say this, you don't have to take it to heart. The idea of patriotism being a family tradition is completely bullshit. Okay, stop acting in front of me. Have you forgotten that I can see the live broadcast in the living room from the conference room?" Lu Fankin said in a cold tone, "I heard clearly the conversation between you and the National Blade. Nalan Ziu, you let Nalan Yi snatch the Red Lotus sword just to present it to the National Blade, right? This time, I admit defeat, but Nalan Ziu, I'm warning you, this matter is not over yet. Our Country D and the Nalan family will fight to the death from now on." Lu Fankin said through gritted teeth, then gave Nalan Yi a cold look, then led Du Ziming and others away. Originally, he planned to kill Nalan's family, but now he didn't dare to act rashly. Because Lu Fankin had felt Nalan Yi's explosive power in the underground conference room just now. Although he could deal with Nalan Ziu, none of his men could be Nalan Yi's opponent. What's more, this is the Nalan family, and there are other masters. If they fight, one side will definitely suffer. And the most important thing is that the Red Lotus sword has been taken away by the national blade. Even if they make a fuss about the Nalan family, it will not help. Therefore, after much thought, Lu Fangchen gave up and quickly disappeared. Grandfather. Seeing this, Nalan Yi felt that something was wrong. He clearly did not kill the D country people, so why should he take the blame for others, so he wanted to make it clear to his grandfather. Grandson, I know what you are going to say. You are just worried about offending country D. Nalanzu comforted him, don't worry, this is the territory of China. People from country D dare not act rashly. Besides, you are so strong, they can't do anything to you. The most important thing is that when you killed Ling Hu last night, you showed your patriotism. It was really wise. If country D really wants to touch you, the national sword will not stand idly by, Nalanzu said. After hearing these words, Nalan Yi swallowed the words that came to his lips and decided to take the blame steadily and never confess to anyone. By the way, grandson, Zhao said that your strength is not just what you reveal, you also hide your strength. What is your level? Suddenly, Nalanzu asked curiously, with hope in his eyes. Nalan Yi didn't know how strong he was, and he was still confused until now, but it felt really good to be valued by his grandfather, so he said, I should be at the half-step master level. Half-step master. When Nalanzu heard this, his face was full of shock, and then he said ecstatically, a half-step master in his early 20s, ha ha ha, good, good, good. Grandson, please continue to practice at your current pace. You should be younger than the young master Su Xiantian who suddenly appeared in Jiangbei recently. Nalanzu looked at Sun Chenglong and said, Grandpa, I believe you will definitely become the youngest martial arts master. Practice. Nalan Yi was a little confused. I don't know how to practice. After a pause for a few seconds, Nalan Yi calmed down and said, Grandpa, practicing this thing is not something that can be forced, it needs to rely on feeling. Some people practice for half an hour and are more effective than practicing for half a year. I am a gifted person. Players, if you usually go to the club to relax, you will get twice the result with half the effort when practicing. So this is Nalanzu suddenly realized, and then said, okay, grandson, you go to the club quickly. If you have enough money, tell grandpa if it's not enough. From now on, Nalan's family will be your treasury. Grandpa can take it out for you no matter how much money you need. Damn it! So cool. Nalan Yi's eyes widened, and he asked Nalan Ziu how many millions he wanted, and then ran off to a high-end club. Looking at Nalan Yi's leaving figure, Nalan Ziu showed a proud smile. My grandson is so powerful. Although he is so strong, he can hide it tightly without leaking any of his true energy. Even if I am higher than him, I can't see through his strength and think he is just incapable of restraining a chicken. Ordinary people. You are so strong, you are worthy of being my grandson. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 73. The Other Side. Guo Ren obtained the Red Lotus Sword. Although the mission had twists and turns, it was finally completed successfully. Brat. At this time, Zhao was holding a cup of milk tea, her beautiful eyes fell on Su Yang, and she smiled softly, Sister, it's time to go. Sister Zhao, Su Yang said reluctantly, I can't bear to leave you. Can you stay in Jiangbei for a few more days? There are many interesting places in Jiangbei. No, the Red Lotus Sword is a famous sword of Country D. If Country D reacts, it will definitely send experts to snatch it. Zhao smiled softly and said, although I am sure that I will kill as many as I come, but in order to reduce unnecessary trouble, I still have to send the Red Lotus Sword to the treasury as soon as possible. Okay then, Su Yang said, frustrated. Little guy, don't be sad. You performed well today. If you have any troubles that you can't solve in the future, you can tell your sister and she will help you, Zhao said with a smile. Really? Su Yang said in surprise, any trouble can be solved. Of course it's true. Sister, you stick to your word, Zhao smiled softly. Hey, Sister Zhao, there's no need for that later, I'm in big trouble now. Su Yang stopped beating around the bush and went straight to the point. Sister Zhao, you know that I have never been exposed to ancient martial arts, nor have I exercised. I was absent from the morning jog when I was in school. I just want to stay in Jiangbei, living a life of dissipation, and don't want to go to the national sword to practice. But my dad, he insists on forcing me to go to the national blade. Sister Zhao, can you communicate with my dad and let him give up the idea of sending me to the national blade? Su Yang added, with my small body and weak body, I can only be a burden to the national blade. When Zhao heard this, she couldn't help but laugh and said, little guy, you are so honest. You also know that you are a burden. Since you don't want to train, then forget it. I will explain it to Brother Su. That's great, thank you Sister Zhao, Su Yang said gratefully, finally he could stop going to Kuoban. Zhao nodded lightly, then took a sip of milk tea, and said with a smile, the milk tea is very delicious, with a strong taro flavor, taro mud bobo milk tea, okay, I made a note of it, and I will drink it often in the future. Haha, Sister Zhao, don't drink too much milk tea, you will easily gain weight, Su Yang said with a smile. Grow, get fat. The members of the National Blade next to him suddenly became nervous when they heard these words. Zhang Chenyang even looked at Su Yang with pity. Women are born to love beauty, especially Instructor Zhao, who is particularly sensitive to the word fat. In Koran, no one dared to mention her weight in front of Instructor Zhao, even if she laughed at herself, because Instructor Zhao would think it was a satire on her and train her like a devil. But Su Yang actually directly said that Instructor Zhao would gain weight. This was ridiculous, it was like dancing in the instructor's minefield. It's over. Su Yang is finished. But who knows, Zhao tucks her hair in front of her forehead and says with an elegant smile, milk tea is so delicious, you must drink it often. It doesn't matter if you gain weight. Many members of the National Blade were dumbfounded. Why wouldn't the instructor be angry? It's day. Instructor, don't treat me differently. Hey, Sister Zhao, as long as you are not afraid of getting fat, next time I have a chance, I will treat you to a drink of Yangtze nectar, which one is better? Su Yang smiled. Good. Zhao nodded, and then reminded, by the way, little guy, you promised to give me cosmetics. Don't forget to add us on WeChat and I will send you the address. Haha, no problem, Su Yang agreed with a smile. Immediately afterwards, the two added WeChat messages to each other. Little one, remember my address. You can go home now. Zhao smiled and said, if you have time, we can contact you on WeChat. Okay, Sister Zhao, goodbye, I will miss you. Su Yang smiled softly, then said goodbye to Zhang Chenyang and others, and left immediately. Seeing Su Yang walking away, Zhao unconsciously raised the corners of her mouth and murmured to herself, this little guy is 30% like Brother Su and 70% like Sister Yuyan. Interesting, I like it. After talking to himself, Zhao sent a text message to Su Shenbing. The general meaning was to reject his application and not allow Su Yang to enter the national sword. Instructor, why is your attitude towards Su Yang so good? At this time, Zhang Chenyang couldn't help it anymore and asked curiously. Does it have anything to do with you? Zhao's expression suddenly darkened, and she said coldly, Zhang Chenyang, you can handle such a trivial matter as getting back the Red Lotus sword, But now you have the nerve to ask questions. After you return to the National Blade, you go to the 8th level to train for 10 days. This is your punishment. 8th floor. When Zhang Chenyang heard these 3 words, his expression suddenly changed, and he smiled bitterly and said, "Instructor, I was wrong, I can just leave it alone, please let me go, I don't want to go to the 8th floor, that place is too uncomfortable." When did I change my decision? Xiao's eyes were cold and unwavering. Zhang Chenyang panicked, and suddenly remembered Su Yang's behavior in Nalan's living room just now, which seemed to make the instructor happy, so he made a bold decision. "Instructor." Zhang Chenyang looked at Xiao, then smiled and sang, "You love me, I love you, Mixue Bing Cheng is sweet." When the members of the National Blade saw this, they were all confused and their faces were filled with astonishment. Xiao was also stunned and looked at Zhang Chenyang with a pair of beautiful eyes. "What happened? Su Yang sang a line just now." Instructor Xiao was so happy after hearing it. "Why is there no reaction now? Could it be that my singing is not good?" Thinking of this, Zhang Chenyang sang it again, and also made some cute movements. "You love me, I love you, Mixue Bing Cheng is sweet." Snapped. But before he finished singing, Xiao, whose face was as deep as water, raised his hand and pulled it away, followed by screams. "Instructor, I won't sing anymore, stop fighting. I was wrong, please let me go." It didn't take long. Su Yang returned to the Su family manor and saw Su Shenbing in the living room. At this moment, Su Shenbing's face looked a little ugly. When he saw Su Yang, he gritted his teeth and said, "Little bastard, what the hell have you done wrong? Why doesn't the instructor of the National Blade allow you to join the National Blade?" "Dad, I didn't do anything." Su Yang had already thought of his words, so he said, "Maybe Sister Xiao has figured it out and feels that a loser like me is not qualified to enter the National Blade." "Fuck you, how is that possible? She clearly agreed before, wait a minute." Suddenly, Su Shenbing came to his senses and couldn't help but ask, "What did you call Xiao just now?" "Elder sister." Su Yang smiled, then changed the subject and said, "Dad, what, can't you call me sister? Just because she liked you, you can't stop me from calling her sister. After all, she looks so young and beautiful." Su Yang smiled. "Fart, who told Xiao that she pursued me?" Su Shenbing stood up instantly after hearing this. Captain Zhang said that. Su Yang asked doubtfully, "Isn't it true?" "No. Zhang Chenyang just joined the National Sword 20 years ago, he knows nothing." Su Shenbing looked serious, and then said, "That Xiao, the person he is pursuing is not me, but actually." Having said this, Su Shenbing paused, then gritted his teeth and continued, "Yes, it's your mother. Urban Super Dude." Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 74. Is it your mother? Hearing Su Shenbing's words, Su Yang paused, then said with a dark face, "Dad, I know my name is Sister Xiao. You are not very happy, but you can't curse. Who scolded you?" Su Shenbing rolled his eyes at Su Yang, and then repeated, "I mean, the person Xiao pursued back then was your mother." "My mother? Sister Xiao pursued my mother? Fuck." Su Yang's eyes widened for a moment, and he asked in disbelief, "Dad, you didn't lie to me, did you?" "I'm so idle, why am I lying to you? But this is unreasonable. Isn't Xiao a woman? How could she pursue my mother? Is there something wrong with her sexual orientation?" Su Yang still couldn't believe it. Not only is there a problem, there is a huge problem." When mentioning this matter, Su Shenbing gritted his teeth and said, "She had a very good relationship with your mother back then, and she often ate and went shopping with your mother. I thought they were best friends, so I didn't take them seriously. Who knew that Xiao had ulterior motives?" He was greedy for your mother's beauty and instilled a very terrible thought into your mother. Su Yang couldn't help but ask, what thoughts? Men and women are just for reproduction, and women are for true love. Su Shenbing's memory was still fresh in his mind. This. Su Yang swallowed, and then asked, then, is my mother with her? How is it possible? Your mother didn't agree to her and only wanted to be her best friend. Su Shenbing fell into memories and said narcissistically, but maybe your mother was moved when she met me. When your mother saw me, her eyes widened and she took the initiative to strike up a conversation with me, Su Shenbing said proudly. My mother chased you? Su Yang asked doubtfully. Su Shenbing nodded proudly, well, she chased me. She chased me for a long time before I agreed. Is my mother blind? Su Yang raised his eyebrows. Fuck you, you're blind. Su Shenbing boasted, when I was young, I was graceful and graceful. I was the face of the national blade. I was much more handsome than you. Where is the face? Dad, are you shameless again? Su Yang smiled, then returned to the original topic, and said in surprise, I didn't expect Sister Zhao to be so beautiful, and she turned out to be Lily. It's incredible. Dad, since you don't owe Sister Zhao, why are you afraid of her? Su Yang asked. This woman, Zhao, is more talented than me. She was far superior to me in strength back then. After she found out that I was in a relationship with your mother, she often challenged me to fight on the grounds of competition. Su Shenbing didn't hide anything, there was a hint of fear in his eyes, and he continued, but I can't beat her at all. Every time I meet her, she will beat me with wounds all over my body. Can I not be afraid of her? Haha, that's it? Su Yang couldn't help laughing, so, Dad, you left Kyoto with my mother and came to Jiangbei. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to be beaten all the time. Su Shenbing smiled bitterly and said, originally Zhao was going to follow, but luckily he was stopped by the superiors. Not many people know about this matter. After all, the National Blade instructor likes women, and it would have a negative impact if word spread about it, so I never mentioned it to others. Su Shenbing warned, little bastard, keep your mouth shut and don't tell others. You just need to know that from now on, just keep your distance from Zhao. She is very dangerous if you are older than me. Dad, you are worrying too much. Sister Zhao is very kind to me, very gentle. Su Yang smiled and said, also, Dad, when Sister Zhao bullied you like this, don't worry, I will definitely avenge you. Revenge? Just you. Su Shenbing couldn't help but shake his head, let's forget it, Zhao can crush you with one finger. Worry, Dad, you look down on people, just wait. Sooner or later I will fight for my father and fix her severely, Su Yang said half-jokingly. Okay, stop bragging. Tell us what happened to Nalan's family today, Su Shenbing asked. Su Yang smiled and said, Dad, don't worry yet. Don't I need to go to Kuaban? Zhao has already spoken. Do you think you still have a chance to join the National Blade? You can just hang around in Jiangbei from now on, you useless thing, Su Shenbing said with an ugly face. Haha, great. Su Yang laughed first, and then told his father everything that happened at Nalan's house. When Su Shenbing learned that Nalan Yi had exploded with powerful power, he was extremely shocked. This Nalan Yi is really a monster. He is 21 years old this year. He has reached the peak of Huajin. He even has some reservations about his own strength. His true strength is probably that of a grandmaster. The worst is half a step. Grandmaster. Su Yang, in comparison, you are really a waste. You are also a young master from Jiangbei. Look at others, and then look at you. If there is no comparison, there will be no harm. Su Shenbing glanced at Su Yang with disgust, then smiled, Thankfully our Su family has won over a young grandmaster in the past 2 days, so we don't have to worry about the Nalan family taking away the Su family's status. Young grandmaster. Su Yang knew very well that this young master was referring to himself, but on the surface he said, "Hey, Dad, is it true or not? Who is that person and how did you win over him? You don't even know him, but he is a very strong young man." Su Shenbing smiled proudly and said, "As for how to win over, haha, it all depends on your grandfather's wise decision." In order to quickly bring the young grandmaster closer to the Su family, your grandfather became sworn brothers with him. From now on, we will share blessings and hardships. So that's it? Dad, don't you have an extra uncle? Su Yang knew it and smiled softly. Yes. Su Shenbing said proudly, "My uncle is too strong, haha. As long as he is here, the Su family will be more stable. Speaking of my uncle, I haven't seen him for several days since we last said goodbye. I will definitely have a good drink with him when we meet next time." Su Shenbing smiled and said, "Su Yang, I will take you with me when the time comes." "Okay, Dad, I'm going back to the room first." Su Yang suppressed his smile, said goodbye to his father, left the living room and walked back to his room. This bastard either goes to the club or goes back to his room to lie down. Now he can't even go to the National Blade. He's a waste. Watching Su Yang leave, Su Shenbing shook his head helplessly, but there was no way to change Su Yang. He simply returned to the way he was before, letting Su Yang play by himself and be happy. The future of the Su family could not depend on him anyway. At this time, Su Yang returned to the room and sat cross-legged on the bed, intending to refine the evil energy stored in his body. Today, when he saw Xiao and Nalanzu fighting at the master level, Su Yang understood how tyrannical the martial arts master was. With his current strength at the second level of Qi training, he simply cannot compete with the martial arts master unless he sets foot on the third level of Qi training. Just when he was about to practice, he suddenly received a call from Zhao Jiping. On the phone, Zhao Jiping whispered, "Young Master Su, Nalan Yi has come to the nightclub. Brother Song and I are going to take action. Please let the Su family run quickly and contain the masters of the Nalan family." "Okay, no problem. You feel free to kill that bitch Nalan Yi. I'll be responsible if something goes wrong." Su Yang first promised, then hung up the phone and sneered, "Haha, I was the one you two wanted to kill originally, and now you still expect me to help you, it's simply ridiculous." Immediately afterwards, he pretended that nothing happened, closed his eyes slightly and entered the cultivation state. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 75. As for Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming, these two people are not Su Yang's subordinates, and they are not really loyal to Su Yang. In fact, they were enemies with Su Yang, but they were led astray by Su Yang's disguise as Nalan Yi. In any case, the life and death of these two people has nothing to do with Su Yang. It would be better if they could kill Nalan Yi, but if they couldn't, forget it. Therefore, Su Yang did not pay too much attention to this matter and calmed down to refine the evil spirit in his body. At this moment, a high-end club at night, this is a place similar to Jade Finger Wonderland. Even during the day, there are many customers. At this moment, Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming were pretending to be guests of the club and sitting on the sofa in the hall. Seeing Zhao Jiping hang up the phone, Song Kongming asked, "Master Zhao, what did young Master Su say?" "Brother Kongming, don't worry. Young Master Su will naturally not change his promise. He told us to kill Nalan Yi with confidence and boldness. He will handle the rest." Zhao Jiping responded with a smile. "Okay." Song Kongming said excitedly, "I have already observed that Nalan Yi went to the private room at the corner of the third floor without his men. Now is an excellent opportunity. Let's do it to avoid long nights and dreams." "No problem." Zhao Jiping nodded and said, "Nalan Yi himself is not weak. We will try to kill him within 20 minutes. Good. Song Kong-ming agreed, and then the two of them came to the third floor together with murderous intent. Soon, they walked outside the private room at the corner and broke in directly. Ah! At this time, Nalan Yi was enjoying the service of the beautiful technician, which was particularly comfortable. The sudden change frightened him so much that he stood up hastily. But after seeing Zhao Jiping and Song Kong-ming, Nalan Yi breathed a sigh of relief and said with an unhappy face, "You two are crazy, you scared me." Nalan Yi. Zhao Jiping was as calm as water and said in a cold voice, "Why are you so arrogant? We are here to kill you today. Kill me." When Nalan Yi heard this, he became furious and said, "Damn it, I asked you to kill Su Yang, but Su Yang was alive and well. Now you want to kill me in turn, are you really crazy? I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you, Master Zhao, let's come together," Song Kong-ming said in a deep voice. Good. Zhao Jiping agreed, exuding terrifying power, and approached Nalan Yi with Song Kong-ming. "Damn it! Come on." Nalan Yi was a little panicked when he saw this. At the same time, he was very puzzled. They were fine when they were chatting yesterday. Why did these two people change their guns now? "Zhao Jiping, Song Kong-ming, your enemy is Su Yang, why should you kill me?" Nalan Yi asked as he backed away. "Shut up." Zhao Jiping gritted his teeth and said, "Nalan Yi, have you forgotten what you said last night? Why are you pretending?" Nalan Yi was even more puzzled and asked doubtfully, "What did I say? We met last night." "Haha, of course I have seen it before. You deceived us into Dongshan Forest, didn't you just want to kill people and silence them?" Zhao Jiping responded coldly, "Moreover, Nalan Yi, you admit it yourself that you killed Wenbin and Wang Pingchuan. There is no need to talk nonsense between us. Show your true ability." As soon as the words fell, the two of them attacked Nalan Yi together. "My true ability? Has it spread that I know martial arts? How did they know about it? Also, I obviously didn't do anything last night, so why do so many people say they saw me in Dongshan?" Nalan Yi frowned, puzzled. Boom! Boom! At this moment, Zhao Jiping and Song Kong-ming came to him at the same time, punching and kicking him. "Ah!" Nalan Yi let out a scream, and his body flew out. He landed on the ground 3 or 4 meters away, and then spat out a mouthful of blood. At first, he thought that Zhao Jiping and Song Kong-ming were just bluffing and did not dare to touch him. After all, he was the second son of the Nalan family. But now he knew that these two people were really capable of taking action, and Nalan Yi was instantly terrified. "Why don't you fight back?" At this time, Zhao Jiping couldn't help but ask, and looked around vigilantly. Originally, with the strength of him and Song Kong-ming, they could kill Nalan Yi with one blow. But they found that Nalan Yi showed no sign of fighting back, so they were a little afraid and did not use all their strength, otherwise Nalan Yi would have died just now. However, what they didn't know was that Nalan Yi had no ability to fight back. "Yes, I want to fight back. The two of them are not as strong as me. As long as I use the power that I exploded in the manor living room before, I can definitely defeat them." Nalan Yi reacted, then became confused again, "But, how should I use it?" Ever since he knew that he was very strong, Nalan Yi wanted to use that huge power more than once. But no matter what he did, he just couldn't use it. "What should I do now?" Nalan Yi wants to cry or not, his face is particularly ugly. "Master Zhao, be careful. This Nalan Yi is very cunning and may have hidden his strength. If we attack with all our strength, there will be a short period of connection afterwards, and he may seize the opportunity to kill us." Song Kong-ming analyzed, "So I suggest that while being vigilant, torture him slowly. When he is weakened, he will be killed with one blow, and it will not take too long. If he does not fight back, It will take up to 5 minutes. I don't even have a chance to fight back. That makes sense, okay. The head of the Zhao family nodded, and then, together with Song Kongming, began to torture Nalan Yi. Ah, stop, don't hit me. Hiss, you two bitches don't want to live anymore, do you? I am the second young master of the Nalan family. At this time, outside the private room, Nalanzu was hiding in the dark, watching all this intently. After learning that Nalan Yi was a martial arts genius, Nalanzu did not dare to be careless. He was afraid that Lu Fankin of Country D would secretly kill Nalan Yi, so he always protected his good grandson. At this moment, seeing Nalan Yi being tortured to death by Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming, but still not revealing his strength, Nalan Ziu smiled happily. As expected of my good grandson, he has a strong heart, pretends to be more like ordinary people than others, and is beaten so badly without being exposed. How strong! Based on this kind of character, I can be sure that there won't be anyone else in Jiangbei. Tisk, tisk, it wasn't exposed yet. If it were me, I would have fought back a long time ago. My grandson is so powerful. Nalanzu couldn't help but praise him and felt proud to have such an outstanding grandson. But slowly, he realized that something was wrong. Why was his precious grandson's aura getting weaker and weaker, as if he was really going to die? Moreover, Nalanzu discovered that Nalan Yi was not pretending to vomit blood. He actually vomited blood and even vomited so many bones that Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming broke several of them. Even a 10,000-year-old turtle wouldn't be able to bear this situation, right? Nalan Yi, suffer death. At the same time, Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming felt that the time was ripe, so they took action together to capture Nalan Yi's key points. Nalan Yi was beaten until he was covered in blood. He was lying on the ground. His pupils shrank rapidly, but he was unable to avoid it. He was so frightened that he wet his pants. Nalanzu in the dark looked very ugly when he saw this scene. Naturally, he couldn't sit still and rushed in. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 76. Boom. Boom. As soon as Nalanzu appeared, he knocked back Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming with two palms, causing them to fall to the ground and vomit blood. N.A. Nalanzu. After Zhao Jiping saw the appearance of the visitor, his expression suddenly changed and he was extremely frightened. The same was true for Song Kongming. He didn't dare to breathe and lay on the ground in fear. The white-haired Sukyankan and the hunchbacked Nalanzu, these are famous martial arts masters. Grandfather. When Nalan Yi saw Nalanzu, he was overjoyed and said weakly, you showed up just in time. Why are you here? I have been protecting you secretly to prevent Lu Fankin from coming back and killing you secretly. Nalanzu responded, turned to stare at Nalan Yi, and asked doubtfully, grandson, what's going on with you? What's your strength? Why didn't you use it just now? Nalan Yi hesitated and then explained, I don't want to expose my strength. Okay, stop saying these high-sounding words. There is no one around here. Even if you kill these two people, you will not expose yourself. If you can really mobilize that power, how can you let them do this? Torture. With that said, Nalanzu pointed to Nalan Yi's pants and said calmly, besides, your pants have been wet. You are obviously really scared. Tell me, what happened? Grandpa, Nalan Yi hesitated for a moment, knowing that he could no longer hide it, so he lowered his head and whispered, actually, I don't have a master, and I have never practiced. Those words I said before were all lies to you. What? Nalanzu frowned, and then asked doubtfully, then why, in the living room earlier, you were able to burst out with peak power? I don't know about that. It seems that I became awesome all of a sudden, Nalanyi said aggrievedly. That power disappeared after a few minutes. I still don't understand what happened. Such a thing can happen. Nalanzu looked at his grandson in surprise, but found nothing suspicious. One more thing, Grandpa, in fact, the master of country D. Nalanyi wanted to confess completely. But at this time, Nalanzu raised his hand to interrupt. Let's talk later. Immediately. Nalanzu's eyes fell on Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming, and he said solemnly, why do you want to kill Nalanyi? Huh, he killed my son, naturally I can't pretend that I don't know. Zhao Jiping met Nalanzu's gaze and said, Master Nalan, if I fall into your hands today, I have no intention of leaving alive. I will kill or behead you as you wish. Haha, you are smart. When Nalanzu heard this, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He raised his hand and released a terrifying blast of qi, directly killing Zhao Jiping. Master Zhao. Seeing this, Song Kongming knew that he would definitely die, so he gritted his teeth and killed Nalanyi, intending to take him away before he died. How dare you be so presumptuous and ignorant in front of the Grand Master? Seeing this, Nalanzu sneered, and then he also raised his hand and killed Song Kongming instantly. Just like that, the revenge duo fell into a pool of blood, dying. Nalanyi, go home and tell us. Next, Nalanziu took the seriously injured Nalanyi back to the Nalan family's manor. Afterwards, Nalanzu took out a bottle of golden sore medicine and applied it to his grandson. Nalanzu's injury was quickly relieved. Grandson, what did you want to say just now? At this time, Nalanzu asked. Grandpa, actually I didn't go to the woods in Dongshan last night. Someone pretended to be me on purpose. Those things were not done by me, Nalanyi confessed directly. You didn't do it? Nalanzu paused, his old and yellow face full of surprise, gritted his teeth and said, then why do you admit it in front of Guo Ren and Lu Fangchen? I was also forced. Young Master Su beat me so badly, and I appeared in front of you with the red lotus sword. I can't explain it clearly. You, Nalanzu asked coldly, I mentioned the red lotus sword, how did you get it? Picked it up on the roadside, Nalanyi whispered. Picked it up, didn't you say you snatched it from Guo Ren? I think it's shameful to say that I picked it up, so I just want to be more impressive, so. Fell shame. Nalanzu gritted his teeth, calmed down and asked, so, you really don't have a master anymore? Well, I made up all the talk about practicing martial arts at the age of 8. Nalanyi, you are going to make me mad. Nalanzu said with a dark face, since they are all lies, why didn't you explain it to me after Guo Ren and Lu Fangchen left? I saw that you thought I was a master of martial arts and you were very happy. I don't want to hurt you, I just want you to continue to be happy, Nalanyi said angrily. Happy? Happy, uncle. Nalanzu cursed loudly, and then asked, what happened to the two people in the nightclub? Why did they want to kill you? I don't know either. The person pretending to be me must have said something to them, Nalanyi analyzed. You mean, someone pretended to be you and went to Dongshan Forest, killed the masters of country D, snatched the red lotus sword from Zhang Chenyang, and then threw the blame on you, Nalanzu concluded. Nalanyi nodded and said, that's it, Grandpa, I feel like there is a big hand behind my back controlling everything. I see. Nalanzu nodded, then glared at Nalanyi, and said with hatred, you are really stupid, you just jump when others dig holes. Nalanyi stood aside, lowering his head and not daring to look at his grandfather. Forget it, you've been tricked. Someone wants to plot against you, and you can't hide. Nalanzu withdrew his gaze and asked seriously, so, you are just an ordinary person, so why were you able to explode at the peak of your strength before? Nalanyi said with a confused face, I really don't know about this, but Grandpa, I felt that the power in my body was real at that time. I was really strong in those few minutes. I've seen it. It's true that you can defeat Zhang Chenyang, but why has your power disappeared again? Nalanzu frowned slightly and thought about this matter seriously. Suddenly a thought flashed through his mind, and he said in surprise, could it be that you have a special physique? In a critical moment, the Ren-Du second meridian in your body will be opened. After the crisis, the Ren-Du second meridian will be opened, the pulse is automatically closed, so you will transform from an ordinary person to a martial arts master, and then to an ordinary person again. This, Grandpa, is there such a physique in the world? Nalanyi asked doubtfully, feeling faintly excited. Nalanzu nodded and said, yes, there are all kinds of wonders in the world. Grandpa, how can I open up the Ren and Du channels again? I want to become a master, Nalanyi said excitedly. Upon hearing this, Nalanzu was silent for a few seconds, and then said seriously. You were able to explode earlier because Su Yang slapped you. Maybe the slap could stimulate your Ren and Du pulses. How about I find an ordinary person and give you a try by slapping you a few times? Good. Nalanyi did not refuse and agreed excitedly. Immediately afterwards, Nalanzu called an ordinary servant and ordered him to slap Nalanyi. Don't stop, hit hard, young Master Su used more force than you. Don't just hit the right cheek, give the left cheek a few times as well. Young Master Su didn't just hit one side. You can't do this. The force is uneven. It's not as comfortable as Mr. Su's. You have to hit me on the face with your whole hand. Don't just hit me with your fingers. The palm of your hand should also be close to my face. Nalanyi pointed his men to slap him with excitement on his face. It was the first time he was slapped and he was so happy. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 77. In this way, Nalanyi was slapped for a whole day, but he still failed to burst out the peak strength. Is it useless for others to beat me, but only Su Yang can beat me? At this moment, Nalanyi, whose cheeks were red and swollen, said vaguely. Nalanzu didn't speak, his face was extremely gloomy, and he kept thinking about the whole thing in his mind. After a while, Nalanzu said calmly, this has been a plan from the beginning. The purpose is to frame the Nalan family and drag you into trouble. It's really strange. Who is the person behind the scenes and why do they do this? Nalanzu couldn't help but guess. First of all, this person is very strong, at least a half-step master. Only in this way can he easily kill Ling Hu of Country D. Secondly, this person is proficient in disguise, and his disguise method is very skillful. He can completely change his appearance. Nalanzu said puzzledly, our Nalan family is on good terms in Jiangbei, and we have no enemies. What's more, there is no one in Jiangbei who is so good at disguise. This is going to be difficult. Who is behind this? Nalanyi was confused, his head was buzzing, and he had no intention of thinking. He couldn't think of who it was, so he simply bowed his head and remained silent. That person wants you to take the blame, and the key evidence for taking the blame is the Red Lotus sword. With this thought in his mind, Nalanzu looked at Nalanyi and asked, Nalanyi, where did you pick up the Red Lotus sword? Did you find anyone suspicious at that time? It's right near Mixue Bingcheng milk tea shop. As for the suspicious person, Nalanyi thought seriously, then seemed to think of something, and said, Grandpa, young Master Su was also present at that time. Is he considered suspicious? Young Master Su, Nalanzu frowned and said, what's going on? Let me tell you. I rushed to the manor after receiving your call, but I collided with young Master Su on the way. Nalanyi recalled, immediately afterwards, I found a red knife under my feet. I picked it up in a hurry. After confirming that it was the Red Lotus knife, I quickly ran back to the manor. Furthermore, the reason why I burst out with great strength is because Master Su hit me. Nalanyi couldn't help but guess, Grandpa, could this matter be related to young Master Su? Su Yang. Nalanzu recited Su Yang's name silently, and his eyes gradually turned cold. The Su family is very powerful. Maybe they actually know someone who knows how to disguise themselves. Su Yang is suspected. Snort. This incident has not only soured the relationship between the Nalan family and Country D, but also alienated my relationship with Guo Ren. Regardless of whether this person was sent by Su Yang or not, I will ask Su Yang to find out. Nalanzu was completely irritated, his expression was gloomy and terrifying, and he made a reckless decision. Unconsciously. Night falls. Su Yang was sitting cross-legged on the bed, refining the evil spirit in his body much faster than expected. After a whole day of refining, he had absorbed less than half of the evil spirit. The bottleneck on the second level of Qi training was somewhat loosened, and his whole body was exuding faint fluctuations of spiritual energy. If all the remaining evil spirits are refined, it will be safe to reach the third level of Qi training, and there is a chance to hit the fourth level of Qi training. In the next time, Su Yang had no plans to go out. He would break out whenever he could. The martial arts master was too strong, and he did not dare to act rashly until he was sure of dealing with the master. After all, he is immortal brother Xiantian, and his purpose is to stabilize his growth and not let it go too far. But at this moment, a call suddenly came in. The caller ID showed Li Feixuan. Su Yang opened his eyes, chose to answer, and smiled softly. "Honey, why did you remember to call me?" "Su Yang, you can do it? If you let me go without saying a word, if I don't take the initiative to call you, are you not going to contact me?" Concubine Li Xian's cold voice came from the other side of the phone. Su Yang was a little confused and couldn't help but ask, "Wife, what do you mean? When did I let you go? I have the nerve to say, didn't you promise to come to my grandpa's birthday party last night? Why didn't you come?" Li Feixuan gritted her teeth and said, "Forget it if you don't come. You don't even give me any news. You just wait for me to call you, right?" Li Feixuan was very angry. She had agreed with her grandfather last night that Su Yang would come to celebrate her birthday later, but Su Yang did not come. If Su Yang had something to do, he could call him and Li Feixuan wouldn't be upset, but Su Yang didn't send text messages or make phone calls. This made Li Feixuan very angry, and she planned to ignore Su Yang, but slowly, she couldn't control herself, and she felt empty, so she called Su Yang. "What are you doing?" Su Yang was slightly confused, but after he came to his senses, he said, "Honey, I'm sorry, I was a little busy last night and didn't go to your house. Although I didn't go, I sent the birthday gift." "Birthday gift? Su Yang, you are just talking nonsense. When did you give the birthday gift?" "What I asked Wang Fugui to send is a tea brick named Fugui Huikai. Didn't the Li family receive it?" Su Yang asked. "Flowers bloom and bring wealth." Li Feixuan was impressed by this birthday gift and gritted her teeth and said, "Su Yang, the flower of wealth is a gift from the young master Su Xiantian, Mr. Su. What does it have to do with you?" "Su Xiantian, Mr. Su," Su Yang frowned. "Well, the Li family did receive the flower of fortune last night, and it was delivered in Mr. Su's name." Li Feixuan continued, "Yesterday, Su Xiantian bought this tea brick in the Jimen black market. Many people know that this Mr. Su must be Su Xiantian. Su Yang, are you trying to impersonate Mr. Su?" "I." Su Yang paused and thought it would be better not to tell Li Fei that she was Su Xiantian, otherwise it would be tragic if she leaked it in front of her father. So, Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Okay, honey, don't be angry. I'll make up for the head office job in the future. We, the Li family, don't care about it." Li Feixuan's tone was full of arrogance, and she gritted her teeth and said, "Su Yang, I never want to see you again, never again." "No, are you free tonight?" "I'll treat you to dinner," Su Yang asked. "Okay, I want to eat lobster from country A and caviar from country G. Su Yang, I'm going to kill you tonight. See you at Joseph's restaurant. Unexpectedly, before Li Feichuan responded, Li Kekai's voice came from the other side of the phone, and then the phone was hung up. Joseph's restaurant. Su Yang smiled, then stood up and left the room, preparing to come back at night to continue refining the evil spirit. Half an hour later, Su Yang drove his family's Porsche to the outside of Joseph's restaurant. This restaurant is the most upscale Western restaurant in Jiangbei, with many high-end ingredients. Su Yang got out of the car and strode into Joseph's restaurant, where he saw Li Feichuan and Li Kekai in the lobby. When Li Kekai saw Su Yang, she immediately ran over angrily, pointed at Su Yang and shouted fiercely. Su Yang, you guy, you deceived me so badly last time, what a cowherd drama, you big liar. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 78. If it was before, Su Yang would have been so frightened that he ran away when he saw the fierce Li Kekai. But it's different now. Su Yang just smiled and said, Li Kekai, you came here by yourself that day. What does it have to do with me? You. Li Kekai's little face turned pale with anger. Despite her cute appearance, she was actually very angry. She rolled up her sleeves and was about to beat Su Yang. Okay, Kekai, don't mess around at this time, Li Feichuan next to her said elegantly. Li Kekai listened to her sister very much, so she gave up the idea of teaching Su Yang a lesson. Su Yang, what is the cowherd that Kekai mentioned? Why did you offend her and make her so angry? Li Feichuan asked curiously. Well, you should ask Li Kekai. She once lived in the same room with an excellent cowherd. She must know exactly what a cowherd does. Su Yang smiled casually. Su Yang, don't talk nonsense. Li Kekai blushed and said, when did I share the same room with the cowherd? That day, I easily knocked down the cowherd. Ah, it turns out you are so powerful that even cowherd is no match for you. I thought you were going to fight for days and nights, Su Yang said with a meaningful smile. This Li Kekai always makes trouble for him. Now that he has the opportunity to tease her, Su Yang will not let it go. Li Kekai was not stupid. She understood the meaning of the war for several days and nights. Her face turned red and she became angry and said, Su Yang, you are shameless. Li Feichuan next to her became even more curious and asked again, why can't I understand what you two are talking about? Can you tell me what the cowherd does? Hey, wife, since Kekai refuses to say it, let me tell you. In fact, cowherd specializes in services. Su Yang, don't say anything. Li Kekai hurriedly stopped, not wanting Su Yang to tell the matter. Although I didn't know what a cowherd was, so I waited for the cowherd to arrive in the private room, but after all, I was looking for a cowherd. This was a fact. It would be so embarrassing if my sister knew about it. Li Kekai, why don't you tell me if you don't let me? Su Yang smiled playfully, of course, if you want me not to say anything, you can just call me brother-in-law in a coquettish tone. Li Kekai gritted her teeth and stared at Su Yang, wishing she could slap him, but finally gave in and said delicately, brother-in-law. Well, that's pretty much it. Be polite to your brother-in-law from now on, and don't target me all the time, Su Yang said seriously. Brother-in-law, what the hell? Su Yang, a dandy like you will never want to be my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law must be an upright superhero, and only such a person is worthy of my sister. Li Kekai was full of contempt for Su Yang in her heart, but on the surface she agreed obediently. Okay, brother-in-law, I was wrong. I won't do this again. Li Kekai said in a sweet voice. There was nothing she could do. Su Yang knew that she had gone to see cowherd, and she couldn't let others know about it, so she could only obey Su Yang. You two are inexplicable. Seeing this, Li Feichuan just smiled and did not continue to ask questions, nor even asked why Su Yang went to a high-end club. First of all, it is normal for young Master Su to go to a high-end club, and it is not unusual at all. If one day young Master Su stops going to the club, that would be abnormal. Secondly, Li Feichuan now thinks that Su Yang is a young talent who knows how to be patient. Such a person must be self-disciplined, otherwise it would be impossible to hide his strength for so many years. To put it simply, Li Feichuan's view of Su Yang is different now from before. Now she thinks Su Yang is an outstanding young man who is calm and considerate of the overall situation. For many things, Su Yang must have reasons and reasons for doing so, and she won't ask too many questions. A smart woman is never the kind to ask questions. Because if the other person wants to say something, they will say it even without asking. If the other party doesn't want to talk, he will only find reasons to explain when asked, which will lead to boredom over time. The most important thing is that Li Feichuan now believes in Su Yang. It was because she believed too much that Su Yang promised her to come to celebrate her birthday, but she didn't come, which is why she was so angry. Thinking of this incident, the smile on Li Feichuan's face faded, and her beautiful eyes rolled her eyes at Su Yang. Wife. Seeing this, Su Yang said, "Honey, I really had something to do last night. I will come to your house another day to wish our grandpa his birthday alone. I'm not angry mainly because you didn't come." Li Feichuan looked at Su Yang and continued, "I'm angry because you didn't come and didn't say anything to me. You know, I waited for you outside the door for 2 days. Hours. It's my problem, wife. It won't be like this next time. Don't be angry." Su Yang comforted. Immortal Emperor Xiantian has never been a licker. Whether he is in the immortal realm or coming to Earth, he has his own rules of conduct. But one thing to say, he was indeed a little negligent about what happened last night, and he should have called Li Feichuan to talk about it. When two people get along, the most important thing is to understand and communicate with each other. Su Yang failed to do that, so he expressed his apology. When concubine Li saw this, she smiled and said, "Don't do this next time. Okay, wife, let's go in and eat. I'm treating you. Don't stand outside." Su Yang smiled. "It must be your treat, Su Yang. This girl said that I will kill you severely tonight." Li Kekai, who was standing next to her, said first, "I'll take the order later, Su Yang, please be mentally prepared." "Haha, okay, just be casual and let's go." Su Yang smiled, it was just a meal, he could still accept it. Immediately afterwards, the three of them walked into Joseph's restaurant together, and Li Kekai directly chose the most luxurious box. The room layout combines Chinese and Western styles. When you walk in, you can smell the fragrance of top-grade sandalwood. There is also a musical performance in the room, which is very enjoyable. Not counting the food and drinks, this room alone costs 100,000 for one night. Li Kekai was still angry with Su Yang. She was really not polite to Su Yang when ordering food. Whatever was more expensive. Steaks from country F, ham from country. About there. After ordering, Li Kekai closed the menu and glanced at Su Yang provocatively. Then her eyes fell on the waiter and said, "Open another bottle of 1976 wine bar. Remember, it must be 1976, the one you sell 800,000 bottles of red wine. I like to drink this and other spicy ones." "Okay, please wait a moment." The waiter obviously knew Li Kekai, so he responded and went down to prepare. "Kekai, you're a little too much. Why did you order such expensive wine?" Li Feichuan said unhappily. "Sister, I want to drink. Besides, Su Yang is rich, so he let me order whatever I want." Li Kekai looked at Su Yang provocatively and said with a smile, "Isn't that right, Su Yang?" "Yes, don't blame Kekai." Su Yang responded with a smile, but he felt a little unhappy. It wasn't because he felt bad about the money, but mainly because Lee Kikai wanted to find trouble again. I won't mention the wine, but Kikai, why are you ordering so many dishes? At this moment, concubine Lee asked. Eat, I have a big appetite. Don't you want to be a kung fu star and make action movies? You should pay attention to your figure and don't eat so much. If you get fat, you won't be photogenic, Lee Feichuan reminded. Yeah, I almost forgot. Lee Kikai reacted and smiled, it's okay. If you can't finish it, you can take it away. Kikai, it turns out you want to make an action movie, why don't you tell me? At this time, Su Yang raised the corners of his mouth, revealing a playful smile, and then smiled softly and said, I know a super powerful film and television company that specializes in action movies, called Tomato Media. I will introduce you to be the heroine another day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 79. Really? Hearing this, Lee Kikai was very happy. She looked at Su Yang excitedly and asked as if to confirm, Su Yang, do you really have an acquaintance in the film and television media company? Of course it's true. Why did I lie to you? Su Yang continued, however, since you don't believe me, forget it. Anyway, with the resources of your Lee family, you can contact the film and television company. I believe it, Su Yang, I believe you. Lee Kikai said, actually, I won't hide it from you. Except for my sister, no one in my family supports me filming action movies, saying that the impact of being in the public eye is not good. But this is my dream. Ever since I was a child, I have hoped that one day the action movies I shoot will be popular all over the internet and be well known to the public. For this dream, I will work hard to practice martial arts. Unfortunately, my family refuses to let me become a kung fu star, and I can't contact the crew myself. Lee Kikai looked at Su Yang with watery eyes and begged, Su Yang, please help me. I will be grateful to you for fulfilling my dream of making action movies. It's a trivial matter. I am good friends with the boss of Tomato Media. I can arrange for you to be the heroine in minutes with just a phone call, Su Yang said with a smile. Lee Kikai said excitedly, so, you are willing to help me? Haha, great, I want to be a kung fu star and I want to make action movies. Excited, Lee Kikai asked curiously, Su Yang, is the Tomato Media you mentioned a big film and television company? Why haven't I heard of it? Of course it is a big one. Tomato Media focuses on domestic films. It is no exaggeration to say that it is an unsurpassed pyramid in the production of domestic action films. So smart. Lee Kikai was so excited that she hurriedly asked, Su Yang, after you contact me, when can I participate in the shooting? I want to shoot as soon as possible, the sooner the better. I can't wait for everyone to see me on their mobile phones. Also, can I be the only heroine? Can. Su Yang nodded and said, they are very productive. They produce several excellent works every month, and they use different newcomers. If you want to go, I'll ask them to make arrangements for you. Based on my relationship with the boss, everything is absolutely arranged. It should be ready to start in the next few days. Su Yang continued, and don't worry, the experience and acting skills of those male protagonists are beyond doubt, but you may be very tired, after all, you have to film opposite experienced male protagonists. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. As long as I can shoot an action movie, I can endure it no matter how hard or tiring it is. Lee Kikai hurriedly expressed her attitude, and then asked the question she was most concerned about, Su Yang, what is the exposure rate of the works produced by Tomato Media? Will they be seen by many people? Are they doing a good job in promoting them? Tomato Media's works don't need a lot of effort to promote, because everyone trusts it. Su Yang suppressed his laughter and said seriously, "You may not know that there is a saying in the circle that tomato products must be high quality." Very good. Li Kekai was particularly excited, turned red in the face, and asked a little shyly, "Su Yang, does the action movie I want to shoot have that kind of scene?" "What kind?" It's just the bed, the show." After saying that, Li Kekai became even more shy. She has lived so long and has never had contact with a boy. She yearns to have sex with her future boyfriend all day long. Bed, scene. Su Yang couldn't help but laugh, and then smiled softly and said, "Of course there is, the male protagonist must be very handsome, you won't suffer." Haha, grievances, love and hatred, this is the movie script I dream of. Li Kekai's heart was moved, and she urged anxiously, "Su Yang, please contact me now, please. Don't worry, since I promised you, I will definitely help." Su Yang smiled, and then said without leaving any trace, "It's just that, Li Kekai, your sister is my fiancée, and you always call me by my first name. Isn't that not good? Brother-in-law." Li Kekai understood what Su Yang meant and hurriedly said, "From now on, I will always call you brother-in-law, so that's all. Who will believe it, unless you swear an oath?" "Okay, Li Kekai, swear to God that from now on, I will call Su Yang brother-in-law. If I can't do it, let me." Li Kekai gritted her teeth, and then said with determination, "If I can't do it, let me get hit by a car when I go out, drink cold water to stuff my teeth, and eat instant noodles without seasoning packets. Okay, let's call my brother-in-law to listen first." "Brother-in-law. Su Yang showed a proud smile, then smiled and said, "Eat first, I will make arrangements for you." "Yeah, thank you, brother-in-law," Li Kekai agreed excitedly. At this time, Li Feichuan suddenly said, "Su Yang, you said tomato media is so good, can I make an action movie with Kekai? I don't know martial arts and can't do difficult moves, but I can be a supporting actress and show my face." "Well, Li Feichuan also wants to go to tomato media to film a film?" Su Yang was a little confused, and after realizing it, he coughed to cover up his embarrassment. "Ahem, wife, don't think so much and just eat." Su Yang quickly changed the topic. Next, the three of them enjoyed dinner together. The food at Joseph's restaurant, although pricey, is absolutely top-notch. But although the cooking techniques are top-notch, the ingredients are mediocre, and naturally they cannot be discerned by immortal Emperor Xiantian, so they can only make do with it. Soon, the three of them finished their meal, and Su Yang proposed to take Li Feichuan out for a walk. If it was before, Li Kekai would definitely have stopped her, but now that Li Kekai wanted to ask Su Yang, she didn't stop him. After Su Yang and Li Feichuan left, Li Kekai was the only one left in the private room. She excitedly took out her mobile phone, dialed her best friend's number, and said with a happy smile, "Tong Tong, let me tell you some good news. I will go to Tomato Media to shoot an action movie soon. Haha, please congratulate me. Urban Super Dude." Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 80. At the same time, in the luxurious villa area of Jiangnan, in a beautifully decorated pink room, a beautiful girl is lying on the bed and scrolling through Douyin. She has short student-style hair, delicate and beautiful facial features, snow-white skin, and her face is full of collagen. The short-haired girl is Zhou Yutong, who is in her third year of high school and is Li Kekai's best friend. Zhou Yutong has no other hobbies, but she especially likes Danmei novels. She is a standard little rotten girl, pure on the surface but dirty on the inside. She has dabbled in various driving jokes and short movies. Now, when Zhou Yutong heard that Li Kekai was going to film an action movie at Tomato Media, he was immediately shocked and sat up from the bed. He asked in disbelief, "Kekai, are you kidding me? No, Tong Tong, I really want to cooperate with Tomato Media. On the other side of the phone, Lee Kikai said happily, my brother-in-law said that he knows the boss of Tomato Media and will help me contact him. He will arrange for me to participate in the filming as soon as possible and let me be the heroine. Ha ha ha, Tong Tong, soon you can see me on your phone. Ah, Kikai, why did you suddenly make this decision? It's too sudden. Have you thought about it carefully? Zhou Yutong felt incredible. Of course I've thought about it carefully. You know, my biggest dream is to make action movies. Li Keqi smiled happily and said, now that I have the opportunity, I will definitely not let it go. My brother-in-law also said that he will arrange a script for me with multiple male protagonists. Hee, maybe I can develop a boyfriend. Tomato Media, multiple male protagonists, this. Hearing this, Zhou Yutong was speechless and didn't know what to say. What's wrong, Tong Tong? Li Keqi noticed something strange about her best friend and asked curiously. No, nothing. Zhou Yutong responded first, then sighed and said, Keqi, I really didn't expect that you would actually cooperate with Tomato Media to make a domestic film. Do your family members know that they agree to you? My parents don't know about it. Only my sister knows about it. They definitely don't agree with what I took, saying that the publicity has a bad impact, Li Keqi said truthfully. The impact must be bad. Zhou Yutong knew very well what kind of movies Tomato Media mainly made, so he then asked, Keqi, didn't your sister stop you? No, she still wants to shoot with me, Li Keqi said with a smile. Ah, this. Zhou Yutong held it in for a long time and said slowly, you two sisters are so advanced in thinking. You actually want to make an action movie together. Tong Tong, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with advanced thinking? Li Keqi asked doubtfully. Zhou Yutong was almost speechless. After pausing for a few seconds, he said, Keqi, have you been stimulated recently? Why would you want to make that kind of movie? What kind of movie is this? Why can't I understand it more and more? Li Keqi looked confused, and then said, Keqi, if you have anything to say, just say it directly, don't beat around the bush. Keqi, don't be angry. I just think you are still young and shouldn't spoil yourself by making such dirty little movies. Zhou Yutong continued, although I like to watch those small movies and often watch them secretly alone, I don't want my best friend to be the heroine, otherwise I will feel uncomfortable. Keqi, you understand me? Do you mean it? Li Keqi paused, then reacted, blushing and gritting her teeth, Tong Tong, don't talk nonsense, who said I would make such a pornographic movie? You said so yourself. Zhou Yutong responded, didn't you say you want to cooperate with Tomato Media to make action movies? Tomato Media's action movies are the kind of small movies I'm talking about. They mainly shoot photo albums and this kind of action movies. They are large scale and have plots wonderful, I've been following them for a long time. When Li Keqi heard this, she was stunned and froze on the spot. Hey, Keqi, if you want to take pictures, go ahead and take pictures. You are already an adult and no one can interfere with your freedom. With 360 lines, you will be the best in every line. At this time, Zhou Yutong first sighed, and then encouraged, you must work hard and strive to make a work that is eye-catching. I will wait for updates and look forward to your performance in the movie. Ah! Li Keqi reacted, her face turned red instantly, and she said angrily, damn Su Yang, how dare you tease me, I'm done with you. Keqi, what's wrong? Zhou Yutong asked confused. Tong Tong, I was deceived by Su Yang. I didn't know Tomato Media makes that kind of action movies. Li Keqi's face turned red and she told Zhou Yutong exactly what happened. Haha, that's it? Zhou Yutong couldn't help laughing, young Master Su is taking the bamboo shoots. I'm laughing so hard. You are my best friend and you can still laugh, Li Kekai said angrily. Kekai, don't be angry, I won't laugh. Zhou Yutong suppressed her smile and asked, then do you still plan to cooperate with Tomato Media now? Cooperative Woolen, I won't talk to you anymore. I must avenge this. I'll hang up now and come to Jiangbei to play when I have time. With that said, Li Kekai hung up the phone. It's a pity that I can't see Kekai's performance anymore. There are so many male protagonists. It's exciting just thinking about it. Hearing that Li Kekai would not cooperate with Tomato Media, Zhou Yutong felt a little disappointed for a moment. When the lanterns first come on, the city is reflected in a variety of colors. At this moment, Su Yang and Li Feixuan were walking on the street together, shoulder to shoulder. Under the street lights, their silhouettes were gradually lengthened. The time is right, the breeze is not dry, everything is the best arrangement. Su Yang, do you have any plans for the future? Suddenly, Li Feixuan asked. Yes, I have a plan. Su Yang smiled softly and said, my latest plan is to marry you home as soon as possible. Hearing this, concubine Li's beautiful face instantly became hot, and she said a little shyly, it's a beautiful idea, but you are full of misdeeds, so I don't want to marry you. Forget it, I'd better marry someone else, Su Yang said with a smile. You. Li Feixuan rolled her eyes at Su Yang angrily, gritted her teeth and said, Su Yang, can't you say a few nice words to me? Maybe I will change my mind. Impossible. Unexpectedly, Su Yang said impassionedly, a real man was born between heaven and earth, how can he be so depressed that he can only be a licking dog? You want me to please you before you marry me? It's impossible, even in this life. Unless you marry me and become my wife, then everything will be easy to talk about. To please other women is called licking the dog, and to be tired of your own wife is called flirting. As they spoke, the two happened to pass by a lamp post. Su Yang directly grabbed Li Feixuan's arm, forced it against the wall with the help of a telephone pole, and then said seriously, woman, now I'll give you a chance, will you be my wife?